I was in the Labour Party for on and off for 30 years. By 2015, the first Corbyn election, and then there was mass expulsions from the Labour Party from everybody on the left, and I was one of the people expelled. And when I eventually got the letter telling me why I was expelled, they said your Twitter feed says you're a retired bus driver who's a Trotskyist who wants to overthrow capitalism on the face of the planet, and that is not compatible with the aims and values of the Labour Party. So I appealed that, and I said, well, it is compatible with the aims and values of the Labour Party because the founder of the Labour Party was Keir Hardie, and several other people in the Labour Party has such aspirations, and there's nothing wrong with it. And amazingly, they let me back in. And then in March the 9th it was of 2016, I was named in the House of Commons by the Prime Minister, David Cameron, who cited my case and cited that I was allowed back into the Labour Party, despite the fact that he made various allegations against me which were untrue. He said I supported ISIS and I wouldn't condemn the Twin Towers, the bombing of the Twin Towers, and within 2 hours I was re-expelled from the Labour Party. There's two methods of expulsion from the Labour Party. You can be what they call auto-excluded, so you're excluded without a hearing or without a right of appeal. Other people you get suspended and you get a hearing and you get an appeal. So there are several hundred, if not thousands, of people have been auto-excluded, so they can't appeal. I wrote a letter of appeal, but I got no reply.
And Ken Livingstone and the Zionists attack on people in the Labour Party for being anti-Semitic. What's that all about, and what's happening in the Labour Party in relation to Israel and Zionism?
Well, within the Labour Party, there was an organisation that was originally called Pol Zion, and now it's called the Labour Party, the Jewish Labour Party movement. That organisation is basically affiliated to the Israeli Labour Party, and it's affiliated to the World Zionist Organization, and it is traditionally a bastion of the right, and it began making allegations of anti-Semitism against almost everybody on the left. Including the biggest victim, of course, was Ken Livingstone, who had been the Mayor of London twice. He had been the MP for this constituency here, actually, Brent East, as it was. He was the MP here. I would mention that back in 1983, 84. They attempted to get him expelled with charges of anti-Semitism, and the Labour Party completely ignored it that time. The Pol Zion got nowhere. This time they did get him. He's suspended now, and a number of other people have been suspended. I would say about that it's absolutely an outrageous charge. There is in Eastern Europe actual fascist organizations that don't deny the Holocaust, that actually welcome the Holocaust and want to do it again. Those range from the Golden Dawn in Greece right up through Ukraine, Poland, Hungary to Lithuania. These are anti-fascist. These are real fascist organizations. And the Board of Deputies of British Jews has said in a statement quoted in the Telegraph a few years ago that there was two kinds of anti-Zionists. There was the right-wing anti-Zionist in Eastern Europe, and there was the left-wing anti-Zionists in the British Labour Party, and the left-wing anti-Zionists in the British Labour Party were far worse than the actual fascists within Eastern Europe. There is no such people in the British Labour Party that celebrate the Holocaust and want to do it again. There are no fascists of that nature in the British Labour Party. What there is in the British Labour Party is very severe critics of the treatment of the Palestinians, and very severe critics of the way that Palestinians are treated as second-class citizens in Palestine, in Israel. And are discriminated against by not being allowed to buy land in certain places, by not being allowed 50 laws discriminating against them, and therefore it is true that some people make not very politically correct statements. But they're not very politically correct statements that are motivated by outrage in defense of the Palestinians, and that's what they are. And to equate them with the actual fascists themselves is absolutely outrageous.
And what should the labor movement and the unions do to support the Palestinians and oppose apartheid Israel?
Well, the labor movement should, of course, support all the boycott and disinvestment campaigns, but the labor movement should also attempt to implement workers boycotts to prevent movement of goods and services to Israel, and also prevent the import of goods from Israel and goods from the occupied territories that are illegally occupied under international law.